That one. We're live at Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, and it's always a pleasure bringing this man, one of the best in the business, when you see him out there working his magic on the mound. We're talking about the one, the only Logan Gilbert is here with us. How are you, man?
It's quite the intro right there. I like that. I'm good. Thank you.
Bob's your hype man.
That's right.
We'll have to bring you up for
keep him around wherever I go.
Well, look, I got to say, we've been pretty accurate in preseason predictions when we've had you on.
Pretty good.
Last year, we talked about you being an all-star.
Yeah.
And then we talked about you in spring training about being the opening day starter.
Yeah, nailed it.
What else do you want?
Got to keep it going.
we like to take credit for it.
Whatever. Yeah, predict everything you can.
Let's
I guess.
go Cy Young.
If it works, keep it going.
You're going to be in that. You're going to be in that final group there. But no, it's awesome to have you out here. Hey, what's it been like for you? So, what was that like opening day? I mean, that was a big. The story you told about Luis Castillo's reaction, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
He spoke to what kind of guy he is. But what did that mean to you?
Yeah, it says a lot about him. That's who he is just naturally. I mean, what you see is exactly who he is in the clubhouse and everything. But me being out there, I mean, the stadium, first of all, was going crazy and exactly what you dream it up to be. So there was a lot of just hype and nerves and excitement, everything all at once. And then it's weird, actually, like once you throw the first pitch, it kind of feels like back to normal. And then you look up again and there's 50,000 going crazy. So it was really cool.
Did you have to Logan, did you have to calm yourself down a little bit? You know, because I mean, there's a lot of adrenaline going on. You might actually go out there and do something kind of crazy, right, with that much adrenaline?
A little bit. In the pen, I noticed I was pretty hyped up, and the fastball was a little bit higher than I wanted it to go, so that's usually a telltale sign. And walking in with Cal, we kind of discussed that, and we're like, all right, let's go back low target, all that stuff, try to get me, stay on it instead of just close your eyes and rip it.
Well, you know, we've talked to you before, and you're probably your own worst critic. How do you feel like you pitched? I mean, I'm looking at your starts going, man, you struck out. Even on a day where maybe you looked at it not being as efficient with pitch count as you wanted, you struck out 10, which is going to lead to throwing more pitches. But even on a day where maybe you didn't have your best stuff, you still were dominant. How do you feel like things have gone?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Everything's gone kind of the way I want it to. I, of course, want to go deep in games, and I think that'll happen more as we go on. But the stuff feels good. The pitches feel good. I think Cal's doing a really good job behind the plate with all the starters, really. But always trying to be aggressive. That's the main thing for me, stay on the attack. And strikeouts are great. Walks are bad, so trying to keep it that way. And so far, it's been going pretty good.
I love the Cal Raleigh press conference that they did when all you pitchers came in there, right? Tell us a little bit about that, because I heard one of the comments, like I think it was you that said, hey, are you going to pick up the check or something like that?
You picked up the check the night before or something.
Yeah. So we split it that day. I'll give him some credit, but I'm glad I was about to say take your card back and pay for it, but I'm glad I didn't say that, because little did I know he had $100 million coming his way. But when he's, I mean, for anybody, you want to celebrate him, be a good teammate, and genuinely care about every single guy in the room. But Cal, especially what he does for the pitchers, the least we can do is be his support group as much as he supports us too. So that's his day. That's everything he works for his whole life. His parents being there, just a lot of emotions all at once from everybody, and some good questions from the starters too.
Yeah, but that was awesome. Like he got choked up and everything with his family. I mean, that was one of the better things I've heard in a long time.
You don't see it much with him. It came out, but that's the full circle, the moment you dream of and wait for a long time. So I'm happy for him.
Does that do anything for you guys, the young guys in the rotation that haven't signed the big deal yet, and seeing him commit to this organization, seeing Julio commit to this organization? Do you look at that saying, all right, I want to be with these guys? That sends any kind of message to you guys? Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into it, but as far as one person signing with the team that's going to have the most influence on you is Cal being here, and that's what happened with him locking up however many years it was. So it definitely factors in. It's a big deal. That's the guy I've thrown to pretty much 90-something% of my career, and including the minors too. So, there is risk with if you ever go somewhere else and you have a new catcher and a lot of things change. Cal knows me so well that I kind of dream up the perfect scenario. You think of like Wainwright and Yachty, how they had 300 starts together or whatever it is. Like one day breaking that record would be pretty cool. I mean, a lot of things have to go right, but if I could throw to Cal the rest of my career, I'd do it.
Well, there's lots of things. I think the other thing it signaled is that players like this organization, and they like being in Seattle, which everybody here just loves, and they're going to repay you, for that. And what are some of the other things, though, about this organization that, the reasons why a guy like Cal and you, hopefully, will sign long-term here?
Yeah, he nailed some of it in his presser there, but he was talking about the culture that was built here and that we've kind of been a part of building since we got drafted and the rebuild and all that stuff. And I feel like everybody's on the same page here. The players, the front office, the support staff, which, by the way, it's got to be the best in the game with the trainers and the behind the scenes, the analytics people, the pitching coaches, Woody and Trent, like so many good people that are just bought into making our careers better, where we get to be kind of selfish and they pour into our career and want us to do well. But I go back to the culture, what we've built here, the way guys care about each other. It seems like a very unique thing that I'm guessing that's not the case everywhere.
Yeah, it's been hard to get hitters to come here. Obviously, this is not a hitter's park, but pitchers, you got to love it here, right? I mean, when you're out on the road pitching in other environments, do you start thinking, man, I wish we were back in Seattle. Like, is there a distinct difference to you in the way the ball reacts here versus when you're on the road?
Yeah, I mean, being in a pitcher's park, there's nowhere else you'd rather be or go to, right? So I think that's a big advantage for us, and hopefully play here as much as we can. I don't think I notice it as much in the moment when I'm pitching, but I hear about all the effects or factors that other people talk about too. So I believe that does go into it a little bit. There's a lot of pieces, but this truly is one of the places that pitchers thrive the most. So I want to pitch here as much as I can. Makes sense.
Hey, we're so bummed about Robles with his injury, but watching a player do that, like, he never thought about stopping.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you always talk about the metaphor of running through a brick wall. I mean, that was basically him.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so, like, how fired up does that get a pitcher? I mean, we see every once in a while they'll show the pitcher, and they're, when somebody makes a defensive play like that, you got to just love that.
You can tell if a guy's like stutter stepping a little bit versus what there was no stopping. There was no second thought. It's who he is. That's how he plays. It's full force every single game of the year, and it's a long season, but that's who he is. So I hate to see that news because our team goes when he goes, especially from the leadoff spot. Thankfully, we have a lot of great players that I hopefully can pick them up and keep the season going, all that stuff. But I feel so bad for him just not getting that chance, especially laying his body out on the line for the team, for the pitchers, all that stuff. Just says a ton about who he is and how he plays the game for us.
We've had a mini debate going with some of the listeners saying, well, that's a dumb play. He's got to know. He's got to protect himself. And I'm thinking,
wasn't it like ninth inning, though, and tie game?
That's exactly what I was just saying. It was a bottom
game
of the
on
ninth.
The line. The winning run was on first, I think.
Yes.
And then went to third or second.
Well, they made him go back to second. But if he catches that, if he doesn't suffer the injury, he's firing the ball back into the infield. The guy stays on first.
One out away right there after that catch. So you kind of have to do that. Yeah.
So you heard it from the guy who's actually playing at this level.
At least as a biased pitcher, I want the out. Yeah.
If he kind of jogs over there, you're probably thinking you could have gone after that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You're not biased. I mean, we're going to win the game if he makes that play. So, there's lots of people hammering each other on the text toy now. But
it's called revisionist history.
But I mean, for you guys, you obviously don't want to see him get hurt. But like for a pitcher, you got to just love a guy like that.
Yeah, you want him to come out walking away. But especially on the replay, because it was around the corner, so we couldn't really see well from first base. And then you see the replay, and his shoulder's behind him, and he's like scorpion kicked up, and it's like that's serious stuff. I mean, body on the line.
I thought it was a great play. And the situation, you brought up, bottom of the ninth, tie game.
Right.
That out means the world right there.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. You want to ask him about the nickname? You want to get clarity on that?
I was going to ask you because the other day they were talking about the Walter White thing. And so I texted Goldie during or not Goldie, but Ryan Roland Smith. I texted him and I said, I thought Tom Murphy gave him that nickname. Am I right about that, the Walter White thing?
Not quite.
Logan, why couldn't you lie?
Go ahead. Whatever you want to say.
Break the bad news to him.
I honestly want to know.
There's been a lot of confusion around that, actually. I've heard like 10 different stories, but it was actually, it's funny, it's never meant to be kind of like a thing or this long, at least. So the way I remember it, we were in college my junior year playing against NJIT, I think, and some of the guys were together getting lunch. And I was just joking around that they're like, oh, you're like a different guy when you pitch, normal on whenever, and then when you pitch, you don't talk to anybody, you're different. And I was saying how I'm like a different person, alter ego, all this stuff, and randomly just said Walter. It wasn't really about the name, but it was just about like having a different persona when you pitch.
Okay.
And then somehow that stuck in college, and then somehow Cal, I think, got wind of it in the minors. He told Woody in my first big league spring training camp told Scott Service, so then everybody knew, and then it kind of stayed with it, and then media or whatever. So somehow back to college, just a random conversation at lunch, and we're still here talking about it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was on the broadcast, and everything.
And it wasn't even Walter White.
No, that had nothing.
Just Walter.
That had nothing to do with it, but people say that to me, and at this point, I just kind of go along with whatever.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
No.
So you don't know who Walter White is?
I know who he is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the goatee, though, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe people ran with that when I did my goatee
going.
Yeah.
That was very unsatisfying. For
You can say whatever. That's a great story, though, if you want to use that one. You tell me what the story is. I don't care.
He'll just nod and go, "Yep, that's right."
We'll get together. We'll make up a new story.
Yeah, something really good. Yeah.
Logan, we always appreciate you, man. One of our favorites to talk to, as we tell you every time, and can't wait to see you back out there, and can't wait to see you in the final group for the Cy Young.
That's right.
Good
Good prediction.
Now, all right.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Thanks,
an eye on
guys.
it.
Yeah, good talking to you.
Appreciate
again.
you, man.
Appreciate it.
Logan Gilbert, everybody, one of the best in the business. Always great to talk to him. We're going to come back, set the stage for this matchup coming up.